fight to stop modern-day slavery takes hold here in the city that is home to the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. Senator Rob Portman using his clout to put a spotlight on human trafficking. And yes, he brought up the bust here just yesterday.
Investigators say these two men took women from this West Price Hill home into Kentucky to sell them for sex. Anthony Brown and Christopher Combs now face federal charges.
They think that 1 out of every 8 young person who is reported as missing gets involved in sex trafficking.
It was a concerned parent who ultimately led police to Combs and Brown. She feared her daughter fell into prostitution. U.S. Senator Rob Portman now pushing for changes in Washington with legislation he says would shift the thinking.
That changes the definition of these victims, young victims, from being viewed as criminals to being viewed as victims. We can get them into the child welfare system to get them the help they need to get back on their feet.
Portman says the problem often starts with drugs, mostly heroin. You may remember the Avondale house where investigators say women were held against their will until a man could traffic them into Kentucky too. He'd ultimately get busted at a Louisville hotel. But despite the local headlines, experts say it's about more than just sex.
Many of us are of course, more familiar with sex trafficking, but labor trafficking, so any type of domestic servitude, any type of forced labor, anytime a child is forced to work in those types of conditions.
It may seem invisible. These people are trying to change that.
So here in Greater Cincinnati, we certainly see a huge piece of the problem.
This is Human Trafficking Awareness Month in Ohio. That is why Senator Portman is on tour. Another element just launching today, a database called the TIP Award to recognize ideas that work to fight trafficking and show you how to spot it. Tanya?